Dr. D is a 31-year-old second-year postgraduate. She's a trainee doctor, a resident, if you will, and she's working at the RG Car Hospital. She's about to work a 36-hour shift in Kolkata, India, one of the oldest medical colleges that also operates as a hospital. There's a lot of activity going on in there. The students are shuffling into the lecturing hall, and you just hear these high-pitched screams echoing off the walls. Something is going on inside this hospital. Something very strange. It's coming from inside one of the lecture halls, because inside is the dead body of one of the junior trainee doctors. Her parents are immediately called that their only child, their precious daughter, was not feeling well, and she just wasn't feeling well. That's what they're told. Their daughter's body was found partially covered in bruises, oozing out of her eyes, mouth, and her private parts. There's blowing out. And how do you explain the 150 grams of biological fluid found on her body? When the parents start raising these big doubts and concerns about their daughter self-exiting, they're grilled by the hospital and the school headmaster asking, well, she probably had psychosis. What was her mental state like? This is the current ongoing case of the doctor in Kolkata that has been viciously gang essayed and murdered, and how the hospital and the police seem to be covering it up, which begs the question, what are they covering up exactly? Who are they protecting? August 8th, 2024. Dr. D is a 31-year-old second-year postgraduate. She's a trainee doctor, a resident, if you will, and she's working at the RG Car Hospital. She's about to work a 36-hour shift. The female residents who have beaten the harshest conditions of misogyny and all these gender norms to get to where they are, they will be asked favors by professors. When they turn them down, now they have to work 4 times as hard to make sure to give the professor no real reason to fail them. That particular night, she's got dinner with her junior doctors at around 2 in the morning. And around 3 a.m., she decides she's going to find a quiet spot to rest. Now, there's 2 versions on what happens next. The first version being, she willingly goes to the 3rd floor into the lecture hall, where you don't get a lot of traffic in the classrooms at like 3 in the morning. There's going to be no patients, no other doctors, hopefully, or students running in and out of the room. It's likely as private as it can probably get. That's version 1. There's version 2 of the events, which is that one of the people that she ate dinner with told her, hey, why don't you go rest in the lecture hall on the 3rd floor? We're going to make sure that nobody comes in and bothers you because, you know, that's a big thing. So don't worry about it. We'll keep guard. Either way, she ends up sleeping up there. And while she's deep in sleep, someone or a whole group of people crack open the door, slip inside, and by the time they come out, she is covered in with injuries all over her body. Dr. D is laying there dead in the middle of her shift as a resident. She had been essayed and killed. But why? The next morning, students find Dr. D's body. They find the crime scene. I mean, the whole room, there's seeping out of her body. Her eyes were. The autopsy shows injuries indicating that her mouth and nose had been clamped shut and slammed up against, likely, the wall.
You're saying someone smashed her head?
Into the wall so that she could not scream. This is not a quick, painless process. Someone strangled her to the point that her thyroid cartilage was broken inside her neck. That takes a lot of force. Now, Dr. Raja of the C.K. Birla Hospital in Kolkata has described her injuries as, quote, probably the most gruesome that he has ever encountered in his entire lifetime and career. The Kolkata police, they start investigating. Now, there is no CCTV footage in the seminar hall room, but there are CCTV cameras placed in other locations. I wouldn't even say it's in the hallway, from what I can gather. So they look at all these different CCTV cameras to narrow down the list to even know who's in the building at the time of the crime, because that's going to be helpful. The police start sorting through all this footage. They get a list of people who could have been in that seminar room that weren't seen in other areas. They bring them all in. Now, obviously, none of these people are going to admit, hey, yeah, I was there alone. I'm the killer. They do have one piece of evidence. This is the only piece of evidence that the Kolkata police claim that they have. An earbud, a Bluetooth earbud that was left at the crime scene.
Whoa.
Yes. So they bring all these people in, they initially question all these people, and then they decide, you know what? None of these people are confessing, so give me your phones. If your phone connects to this Bluetooth earbud, we know that you are the killer. That's their train of thought.
Crazy, yeah.
So they take each person and they start fiddling with their phones, trying to see if it's going to connect. And finally, they get a phone and it connects. The Bluetooth headphone instantly pairs. The phone belongs to a man named Sanjay Roy. And they start investigating Sanjay because he's claiming that wasn't me. I didn't do it. I mean, that's my Bluetooth earbud, but that's not me. He was seen entering the building at around 4 a.m. wearing a Bluetooth headphone set around his neck. And then 40 minutes later, he exits the building with no Bluetooth headphone around his neck. Even though it is literally the next day entirely, the police stated that he is still completely intoxicated. He reeks of. Immediately after his Bluetooth connects, he is arrested. And all of this is made even more alarming by the fact that he is apparently a trained boxer. That's his background. So what the hell is he doing inside the hospital? Is he a patient? Is he a relative of a patient? He works for the hospital. He works for the police. The night of the incident, I don't know if he already knew these people, but apparently a patient comes in with their relative. So the patient is seen by the doctor and the relative is just sitting around waiting for their, I don't know, brother, right? And he decides, I'm just going to get with this civic volunteer named Sanjay at the back of the hospital. Sanjay's supposed to be working, I imagine. And so they just get, they watch some explicit videos together, very violent. Authorities found tons of violent, quote, abnormal material on this guy's phone. They even went as far to say that he hasn't to viewing these not normal explicit material. So I'm assuming that it was violent to the point where it was alarming.
Are you talking about Sanjay or this random?
Sanjay. Yes. Other than trying to wipe some at the crime scene, he made no further attempts to hide his crime. He didn't even wash the clothes that he wore when he allegedly murdered Dr. D. Which I don't think anything is a slam dunk case, but this seems kind of like a slam dunk case. Well, this is where it gets weird. It has been reported that Sanjay Roy could not have done this alone. The way that the police arrest and present this information, they don't explicitly state that Sanjay did this alone, but it's almost implied. Many netizens believe that there must have been at least 8 people that were involved in Dr. D's assault and murder. One doctor, Dr. Goswami, stated, that quantity cannot be of one person. It suggests that involvement of multiple people. One other thing netizens have pointed out is it's been reported that Sanjay was in the building for only about 40 minutes during the time of the crime. He was very. Could he alone really have done this all in 40 minutes? Many experts have stated it would require superhuman strength for a single person to perform injuries of that extent in under 30 minutes. A netizen from India comments, that seminar hall is very well frequented. Everyone I spoke to who has worked there believes it's impossible to commit a crime at that scale without immense amount of political backing. On top of that, it's reported that Dr. D's parents were not allowed to see their own daughter's body for hours that day. And it's not like they were performing an autopsy during that time. It just felt like they were stalling. So after this, the CBI gets involved. The CBI is essentially, it's like the FBI. Instead of the state local police taking care of it, the FBI gets involved. It's escalating. You know, you got more people coming in. They're coming in with forensic experts. They're coming in with investigators. And one of the questions the CBI has is, was the hospital involved? So there's allegations that this hospital is involved in either trafficking, organ trafficking, corpse trafficking, lots of different types. The main mastermind running this dark empire is likely the principal of that college. Anyone who found out or protested was silenced by threats of failing the college, being banned from staying in the hostel, which is effectively getting kicked out because how else can you afford to study, or being prevented from taking exams, which again results in losing their futures as doctors. This went on until Dr. D finally protested against what they were doing, and this was allegedly about a month ago. Everything was planned, and the face of this fall guy, Sanjay, was instructed to be seen on CCTV. Then strict instructions were given to the team of henchmen to ensure that no patient, no nurse, or anyone else would come near that area during the night until at least 8 in the morning the next day. While eating dinner, one of the other residents suggested Dr. D sleep in the seminar room, and then once she fell asleep, in come these 4 henchmen, and their primary goal was to silence her so that if one person spoke up, the others wouldn't follow. and the cat wouldn't be let out of the bag. But if a calm, non-confrontational, studious, educated woman is suddenly murdered, the motive would be open to question.
And how do people feel about this theory?
I would say that a lot of people believe it. Now,
it explains.
Yes. So I think there's a lot of levels to that even. I think the fact that everyone believes it, there must be a reason they believe it. I mean, I'm sure if it was just the most out of left field, crazy conspiracy theory, there would be a lot of people going, guys, this is crazy. You guys have your tinfoil hats on. There's just no way.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that I would say majority of the comments genuinely believe this. And then second of all, even if it's not true, even if this becomes thoroughly debunked later, I think it's a problem that people believe it, because that means the system has already been so corrupt that people not even bat an eye, but they don't question the validity of it, because likely things like this have happened before.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're going to get to it. The hospital immediately starts, quote, renovating the crime scene room.
That is crazy.
The renovation is, I would say, pretty solid, but the rest of the stuff is not verified social media posts. They've just been widely circulating along with some names. So it does appear that whoever started these posts, it sounds like they are from the school, which is not verification in and of itself, but there are names circulating. So it's not just like random people on the internet, like, this is what's happening. One netizen gives even more graphic detail, and again, this is not verified, just another post. They state that Dr. D was tortured for 6 months straight, that they plotted her murder. She was told to sleep in the seminar hall and nobody else was allowed to enter. They let 7 to 8 people enter as well, and they proceeded to grip her hands and feet and stretch them so hard that her pelvic bone broke. They just grabbed all her limbs and started pulling in opposite directions. Then after killing her, they went out and told Sanjay, who was very much into violence and to go inside the hall and essay her dead body, and they wanted his to be found inside of her. Allegedly, this post was stated by a professor of RG Carr, and then someone wrote it into a post, is what it appears like. Another netizen has been begging for clarification on these posts, writing, please, 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 if you know anything, post anonymously. If these are true, then expose as much information as you can. If it's just a myth, then at least debunk it all. If you are from RG Carr, please just anonymously say something. And nobody's saying anything.
Nobody from the hospital is saying anything publicly.
They are publicly saying stuff about how this case needs justice. They've been complaining about the lack of security. They've been complaining about workplace gender violence, but nobody's saying anything about these rumors, which leads a lot of netizens to believe that they are true. Now let's talk about the principal. The principal had a role in stopping the investigation, allegedly, even by initially telling the parents that it was a self-exit. So when the principal, Sandeep Ghosh, was asked about the murder, he just asked, why did the girl go to the seminar hall? Was there really no other place? Didn't she know not to go there at that type of time?
What?
Yeah. A lot of allegations start circulating about the principal, that he would fail students for no reason at all if he just didn't like you. He would invite students over to his guest house and supply them with is just creepy, and he needs to be fired for that. It's alleged that he has close ties with politicians in that area, and in the end, he resigned after 3 days after the murder. He stated that he cannot take the humiliation and criticism on social media. He believes all the comments are falsely accusing him of things that never happened. He said, I'm being defamed on social media. They've been talking rubbish things about me. That's the reason, I'm resigning. And the girl who died, she was like a daughter to me. He states, as a parent, I decided to resign. In 4 hours, got a brand new job as the principal in another medical college, state-run facility in the same city within 4 hours. He takes his position.
He did not resign. He just transferred out of the problem.
So now all the doctors have decided to strike, a lot of the male doctors as well. Their demands have been, and they're not even really demands for anything spectacular. Their demands are for safe environments so that doctors and staff can focus on saving lives, which is not even really a demand. It's not a crazy thing to ask for. One doctor said, the hospital has always been our first home. We only go home to the hostels or anywhere to rest. We never imagined it could be this unsafe. So first, it starts with this candlelit protest by women and men, all holding candles, protesting, seeking justice, demanding answers. Young people seeking answers from the government. I do want to mention there's so much going on. I think the case itself would have caused outrage had it happened anywhere. But you also have to remember that we live in a society, even in the US, where it's like, hey, get a good job as a woman, get a career, don't depend on men, make your own money and you'll be safe. And then this happens in the workplace. Everything that has been told to women has been built on a lie, is the feeling. You told me if I don't hang out with the wrong people, you told me if I only study, if I wear these types of clothes, all I do is go to school, all I do is become a doctor, and then I get a job, and then I can feed my family, then everything will be okay. And it's like, no, nothing is okay. There were candles everywhere until there weren't. About 2,000 people storm in, and they storm into RG Car near the protest, and they destroy the hospital.
2,000 people?
There's not a direct number. It seems to be about 2,000. Some reports say anywhere between 1,000 to 2,000 men, primarily, come in. They break up the protest, storm into the hospital. There's videos smashing chairs, tables, breaking windows, flipping over police cars, ransacking the entire emergency department of RG Car. It's really bad. Literally nothing is left unturned. Everything is smashed. Police come in, they tear gas the whole place. The mob destroys the emergency department, the back staff rooms, the changing rooms for nurses, the pharmacy. They also destroyed a big portion of the seminar hall where the crime took place, allegedly. Almost all the CCTV cameras were broken. Now, nurses that were working the hospital that night said police were hiding in the bathroom. Yeah, they asked us for space to hide in our nursing quarters.
What?
Yeah. Now, I will say that most Indian netizens, they're not trying to get political. They're not trying to say, I defend the people in power. I defend the opposing party. They're not even putting their political biases. I would say across the board, most Indian netizens feel like everybody in power is just messing things up. They're so corrupt. Most of them are corrupt is the sentiment I'm getting. So they're not saying, no, this party is arguing this party. They're like, no, we hate all of you. We want justice. We don't care about your political party. It seems like everybody's just trying to play the blame game right now. If one politician is asked about the situation, like the one in power right now, they'll respond, what about you? What about violence in your state? Another politician who's part of the ruling party, he hit back. Tell me one state where has never happened. Difference is in other states, nobody took action, but we did. So, yeah, regardless of political affiliations, that's kind of a wild statement to make. So as for where we are now, it seems that a total of 20 plus arrests have been made so far in regards to the case, though it does appear most of them have to do with vandalism rather than the initial crime or some sort of trafficking ring, which makes it seem like the CBI is coming in and making arrests. But a CBI agent stated, we are looking into data by Sanjay's phone to ascertain whether or not he made any video or internet voice calls. They further state, the parents told us they suspect the involvement of multiple people behind the essay and murder of their daughter. They have given names of a few interns and doctors who worked with her at the hospital. We have identified at least 30 suspects and have started questioning them.
Why are people so impatient? Have faith in the new investigating agency.
They also accuse the public of spreading misinformation. I don't know how trustworthy they are. So far, I personally would take everything the police says with a container of salt. Without the backing of doctors from the hospital or the victim's parents, I just am hesitant to believe anything. But the police has stated that there was a rumor circulating that there were at least 3 separate men's biological fluids left on Dr. D's body. Side note, regardless of whether or not people believe Sanjay to be the scapegoat or just one of the many assaulters and killers, his former mother-in-law states he was a violent person. He did not care for consequences, and then he was hired by the police after doing all of this. I saw some Instagram stories saying it's a crime to be a doctor in this country. No, it's a crime to hope in this country. Another one reads, is empty because all the monsters are here. The victim's family have stated that everything that they and their daughter have worked so hard for, all their lives, them working hard to give their daughter a chance to succeed in this country, in this world, their daughter who all she did was give up her whole life to become a doctor, all that was washed away in a night, just gone. And now all they want is justice. They said till they get justice, their daughter's soul will not be at peace. And that is the current ongoing case of the Kolkata doctor incident. And please, please stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.